Russia's Wagner claims to have taken control of Bakhmut. On May 21, 2023, Russia's paramilitary group, Wagner, claimed to have gained full control of the eastern Ukrainian town of Bakhmut, the focal point of Moscow's war on Ukraine. However, Kyiv disputed this claim, with Ukrainian Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Maliar stating that heavy fighting was still ongoing in the town. The situation in Bakhmut has been deemed critical, with Ukrainian forces controlling certain industrial and infrastructure facilities in the area. The British Ministry of Defense revealed that Russia appeared to be concentrating its efforts on the battle around Bakhmut, where the conflict has raged for over 8 months. Moscow's primary aim in the war is likely to capture Bakhmut, which would allow them to claim some degree of success in the conflict. Ukrainian troops still holding positions in Bakhmut despite destruction. Ukrainian troops continue to hold positions in the city of Bakhmut, despite the vast destruction caused by the ongoing conflict. President Volodymyr Zelensky rejected claims that Russian forces had occupied the city and assured that they are not abandoning the people of Bakhmut. According to Zelensky, the city has suffered immense damages, with many buildings destroyed and an extensive loss of life. However, amidst the chaos, Ukrainian defense and military officials have reported that fierce fighting persists in the area. Ukrainian troops control some parts of the city, while heavy fighting continues, according to Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Maliar and Eastern Group of Forces spokesman Serhiy Cherevati. Despite the devastation, Ukrainian forces are determined to protect their territory and prevent further Russian advances. Ukrainian President Zelensky appeals to G7 for support against Russian aggression. On May 21, 2023, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky made an impassioned appeal to the G7 leaders in Japan, urging them to continue their support in the ongoing conflict with Russia. Zelensky stressed G7 unity against Russian aggression, urging for tougher sanctions and provision of advanced weaponry to Ukraine. The G7 leaders responded by reaffirming their commitment to Ukraine and condemning Russia's actions in the strongest terms. They also announced new financial, humanitarian, military, and diplomatic support to aid Ukraine in their quest for a peaceful resolution. The G7 stance reflects their unwavering dedication to upholding international law and ensuring the sovereignty of Ukraine. Conflicting reports on who controls Bakhmut. As the battle for the eastern city of Bakhmut in Ukraine continues, recent developments have brought forth conflicting reports on who currently controls the city. While the Russian private military group Wagner claimed they had completely seized Bakhmut, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky asserts that Ukrainian soldiers still remain in the destroyed city. General Oleksandr Syrskyi, commander of the Ukrainian ground forces, acknowledged that they only control an insignificant part of Bakhmut. However, Syrskyi explained that they are advancing along the city's flanks and are approaching a tactical encirclement. These various claims make it difficult to verify the exact situation on the ground in Bakhmut, but it is clear that the battle for control continues amid the devastation. US announces new aid package for Ukraine. On May 21, 2023, the U.S. announced a new $375 million military aid package for Ukraine to support its ongoing war efforts against Russia. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky met with US President Joe Biden during the G7 summit in Hiroshima, Japan, where the aid package was unveiled. The funding will be used to provide ammunition, artillery, armored vehicles, and training to Ukrainian forces. Additionally, the U.S. will support a joint effort with allied nations to train Ukrainian pilots on fourth-generation fighter aircraft such as the F-16. The new aid package further demonstrates the international community's commitment to helping Ukraine defend itself against Russian aggression. To date, the U.S. has provided $37 billion in financial assistance to Ukraine. Ukrainian military leaders acknowledge difficult situation in Bakhmut. Ukrainian military leaders acknowledge the difficult situation in Bakhmut as conflicting reports emerged regarding the control of the city. Amid ongoing clashes, Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Maliar stated that Ukrainian troops had partly encircled Bakhmut and controlled parts of the city. Spokesman for Ukraine's Eastern Group of Forces, Serhiy Cherevati, further emphasized the challenging circumstances, highlighting the extensive destruction within Bakhmut. Despite the uncertainties and difficulties on the ground, Ukrainian forces remain determined to continue their advances. G7 leaders at the summit in Japan have expressed their firm support for Ukraine's actions to regain control of the besieged city and protect its citizens. Zelensky compared Bakhmut to Hiroshima for level of destruction. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky compared the atomic bombing of Hiroshima in 1945 to the destruction in Bakhmut during his visit to Japan on May 21, 2023. He urged the world's wealthy democracies to unite, continuing to support Ukraine with arms and funds. Zelensky denied Russia's claims of taking control of Bakhmut, stating that the city has been leveled with a lot of dead Russians, and it only remains in the hearts of Ukrainians. During the G7 summit, President Biden announced an additional $375 million in military assistance to Ukraine, including ammunition, artillery, and armored vehicles. Zelensky got more aid from Germany, France, and the UK, including air defense systems, light tanks, and armored vehicles. Zelensky emphasizes importance of international law in resolving conflict. Zelensky stressed upholding international law and respecting the UN Charter as essential to resolving Ukraine's conflict at the G7 summit in Japan. Zelensky highlighted the importance of united diplomacy to counter Russia's aggression. He also mentioned that his administration is discussing with allies to secure support, particularly for acquiring aircraft such as F-16s. The Ukrainian leaders' commitment to international law shows their determination to hold Russia accountable and seek a peaceful solution with global partners. To restore stability in eastern Ukraine and prevent further aggression, it is important to have visionary diplomacy and unwavering commitment to international law. UN Secretary General welcomes extension of ceasefire for 2 more months. The United Nations Secretary General has expressed his approval of the extension of the ceasefire in Ukraine for an additional 2 months. This comes after intense deliberations and negotiation efforts between all parties involved in the conflict. The extended ceasefire is expected to provide much-needed respite to the war-torn country, allowing humanitarian aid to reach affected civilians more efficiently. UN agencies, including OCHA, will keep supporting communities affected by the conflict in eastern Kharkiv and southern Kherson regions for the next 2 months. Additionally, the UN plans to increase its demining activities, as Ukraine has become one of the most mine-contaminated countries in the world. The UN Secretary General has urged all parties to demonstrate their commitment to peace and uphold the principles outlined in the United Nations Charter throughout this extended ceasefire period.